Going, guys. We were talking some Penn State football today. Big game coming up this Saturday against Michigan at noon on ABC. Penn State, I think, has a 50-50 shot at winning this game. I think that a lot of people, when you look at the ranking, sixth team in the country versus an unranked team, I look at that and say, okay, Michigan should handle Penn State. I honestly believe that this is going to be a really good game. I think Penn State has the guys to match up with Michigan, obviously containing Aiden Hutchinson, and Michigan has had a good run game this year, so you're going to have to do similar things what you did against Ohio State, against Blake Corum, who might be injured for this game. We'll see. And Hassan Haskins, I believe, is another running back for Michigan that can do some damage. So they have some guys on the east side of the ball that can give Penn State problems, but I believe Penn State also has some guys that can give Michigan problems as well, like Jahan Dotson on the defensive side of the ball, Jaquan Brisker on Nebuchadnezzar, and we've shown enough competence to stop the run. So hopefully we can do that, like we did against Ohio State for most of the game. And this is a game that is important for multiple reasons. One, if we have any chance of making a good bowl game at the end of the year, trying to go 9-3, trying to win out, then winning this game is a key to that. And just for future recruiting terms too, because Michigan has had put together a good year this year, and they'll be able to, I think, maybe recruit. I mean, they've always been good at recruiting, but to be able to go into Michigan like Penn State's done the last few years and get some of those prospects, being able to say that they can beat Michigan and Michigan State is, I think, kind of key in those situations because they've done it the last 2 years. And if they can make that 3 years in a row, at least against Michigan, and 4 out of the last 5 years, that's impressive, and it's just kind of nice to be able to put that on your resume that, hey, we beat Michigan 3 years in a row. So I'm looking forward to this game. I feel like Penn State has a really good shot of winning it. It's just a matter of consistency for Penn State because I feel like when they're at their best, they can compete with anybody in the country, except maybe Georgia, but they could also lose to just about anybody in the country when, or at least anybody in the Power Five, when they play at their worst. And it's just one of these things that they need to find some level of consistency. It's already about mid-November now, so I mean it's already late in the season. You'd hope that they would have found it by now, but we got a couple important games here at Michigan and then Michigan State to wrap things up. So hopefully it'll be better late than never situation for Penn State, and they'll be able to put a good final 3 or 4 games when you include the bowl game to really put together a good season after last year's trash 4-5 year, and hopefully provide some momentum heading into next year. And yeah, so Michigan, I don't even know what to expect from Michigan. Jim Harbaugh has had a very, very rocky tenure at Michigan. He looked really good his first couple of years. In 2015, he put together a good year. I think they went 10-3, and that was right after they fired the previous coach. The name's escaping me right now, but they were a bad team. They went from a bad team to about 10-win team, so that's pretty good. And the next year they were on fire to start the season. They blew us out 49-10 in the Big House, but then they ended up losing to Iowa and then had a close loss against Ohio State to end their season. And after that, just things kind of took a turn for the worse for Harbaugh and Michigan. They had a not so great 2017 season. 2018 had a really strong campaign, but then did not perform well at all against Ohio State. And ever since that loss, the stigma has just been Michigan can't beat Ohio State. Michigan just can't beat Ohio State, and Harbaugh has taken that criticism. And in 2019, they weren't that good. They were decent, but not the team that Michigan wanted themselves to be. And then last year, they were even worse than we were. So he's definitely had a very inconsistent tenure and hasn't really won anything of any substance. He hasn't won the Big Ten East, so he hasn't even won a Big Ten, obviously, a Big Ten title if he hasn't done that. And he's not even won a New Year's Six bowl game. And if you can't even do that, you're not going to make the playoff, obviously. So the expectations when he took over at Michigan, it looked good his first couple of years. It looked like he turned Michigan around and be a power program again. But now they haven't been that. And this year they kind of put it together, and they've put together a good season. But knowing Michigan, they will falter towards the end of the year. That seems to be what they do when they put together good seasons in September and October. They can't seem to get it done in November against Ohio State, and hopefully they can't get it done against us either. So we'll see how this game shakes out. I think it's a big game for both programs to see where each program's at, and I'm really looking forward to it. All right, thank you guys. We are Penn State.